What's up, guys? Welcome to Whiskey. I'm Jeff. This is a channel where I offer my thoughts and opinions on a specific whiskey, and every once in a while throw on other whiskey-related content. Today, I want to do a 2023 Christmas gift guide. The holidays are coming up. A lot of us are looking for bottles that we can buy for our loved ones. And if your loved one is a whiskey enthusiast or someone who's just getting into whiskey and you're not sure what to get, this is the video for you. Stick around. Okay, so it's the 2023 Christmas gift guide. This is a fun one. I do this one every year. The holidays are coming up, which means you're going to have a bunch of people over the next month and a half, I guess, buying up whiskey. It might be whiskey for them to enjoy with their family and friends over the holidays. More often than not, it's a gift, a bottle that they're looking to give to somebody else. So maybe you're not an enthusiast, but you want a gift for someone who is, or maybe you are an enthusiast and you're just looking for ideas. Either way, lucky for you, I'm here. So, you know, what an absolute godsend I am. A real blessing. Anyway, the theme of this year's video is under the radar whiskeys, because buying whiskey, especially for an enthusiast, can be really tricky. You don't want to buy them something that they already have, and you don't want to buy them something that they've had like a million times before. So you are looking for a bottle that might be a little bit less obvious, but it's still going to live up to their high standards. Because enthusiasts like us, well, we're men of exquisite taste. Gentlemen of exquisite taste. Or ladies. So yeah, basically today we're looking for something that isn't too obvious, but still going to work for people who are into whiskey. What I've got here is 3-word descriptors for each bottle, which basically sum up the whiskey for you guys. And in today's list, I've got 7 categories. And those categories include, what do I have here? I have Barebones Peat, I have Ped and Sherry, I have a gentle whiskey, I have an older whiskey, I have a budget non-scotch, I've got an all-rounder, and I've got a sherried whiskey. Another thing to note here is that I think all of these are very fairly priced whiskeys, which is not to say they're cheap, although some of them are, but everything here is what I consider to be good bang for buck. Like, if you look at the 18-year-old category, for example, it is going to be an 18-year-old that I consider to be reasonably priced, but if you're expecting it to be like 40, 50 bucks, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. You calm down. Anyway, yeah, this should be a fun one, guys. I think I've got some really good picks in store for you this year. As usual, stick around to the end of the video. I've got a mystery pour in my glass, and I'll share with you what that is. This one is the bonus category. We'll call the category rugged whiskey, and I usually give you guys a hint as to what's in the glass. Your hint for this week's video is this was a whiskey of the year of mine before. So good luck with that, and I suppose that's all of our bases covered, so let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into our list. In the meantime, if you'll kindly leave a like down below, that'd be greatly appreciated. Okay, so we'll kick things off with my budget-friendly non-scotch whiskey of the year. This, I believe, is the cheapest whiskey on the entire list, and it's definitely one that's overlooked. I do not hear much chatter about it, but it is really good. I'm going with the Penderin Madeira cask here. These guys have quite a few budget-friendly options out there, and for the most part, they are quite solid, although our Madeira here is my favorite. Now, this one does have its own character. It's got a nice cask influence, but it's not too over the top. Overall, it's just a really pleasant whiskey. I would describe it as bright, unique, and accessible. It's not going to blow you away, but for the price, you are getting something good here, so check it out, Penderin Madeira. All right, our next category here is the all-rounder whiskey. Now, what is an all-rounder whiskey? That means it's a whiskey that's got a little bit of everything in there. So we've got a little bit of peat, we've got a little bit of sherry or some kind of fruity cask influence, and we have some distillate shining through. So it shows the breadth of flavors that we might find in whiskey in one bottle. I think the classic example here might be something like Highland Park 12, for example, but I want to be a little bit less predictable than that. What I've got for you guys today is a Japanese whiskey. This one is the Nikka Miyagi-kyo. This is a beautiful whiskey. It does have a little bit of everything here. So we do have that distillate, we do have some sherry, we do have a touch of peat in here. And beyond all that, we've got that unique Japanese charm. I would describe this whiskey as layered, balanced, and Japanesey, which is not a word and maybe racist. I mean, I don't mean it that way. I'm not a racist, by the way. Some of my best friends are Swedish. Anyway, yeah, Miyagi-kyo. Check it out. Our next category is the Barebones peated whiskey, which means we're looking for a peated whiskey that does not have much in the way of fancy cask play. We're not looking for a big sherry influence or wine influence. If there's any sherry or wine casks in the mix, they're very minimal. This whiskey is all about having that peated distillate doing most of the talking. And my choice for this one is the Lagavulin 8. Now, this is not everyone's favorite whiskey. It does lean a bit young for some. I don't mind at all. I think the Lagavulin distillate is absolutely beautiful here. We do have some virgin oak influence, I believe, but nothing over the top, no fancy cask play. This is all about Lagavulin doing what it does. I would describe this stuff as peaty, which is a shocker, bold, and straightforward. If you're buying something for a smoky whiskey lover, a peat head if you will, I do think this is a good option. It's not super popular. I wouldn't call it under the radar, but it's not too talked about these days, and it is a really good one, so it's recommended. Lagavulin 8. Next up, building off of our last category, we've got the peated and sherried whiskey. Now, this is not like the Allrounder where there's a little bit of peat and a little bit of sherry. Lots of peat, lots of sherry. This is big, bold, in-your-face flavors. Peat and sherry, it's a combination as classic and as timeless as peanut butter and Vegemite. Now, there are a lot of great contenders in this category, but there's also a lot of very obvious contenders. So I could go for something like the Kilchoman Saneg or, I don't know, Ardbeg Ugadal, and those are great options. But as I said, I'm looking for stuff that's a little bit less obvious here. So what I landed on for this one was the Glasgow 1770 peated. As the name suggests, this is heavily peated, but we also get plenty of sherry in the mix here. This has been finished in PX casks. Now, this is not the most complex or layered whiskey out there, but it is very full. It is very satisfying. The peat and sherry work well together, and it's affordable. I would describe this stuff as smoky, fruity, and sweet, and it is a good one. It is a little bit overlooked, so I think it would make for a great surprise to find under the tree. Check it out, Glasgow 1770 peated. All right, so our next category is older whiskey. Now, older whiskey could mean different things to different people. For me, it just means anything that's 18 years old or above. Now, of course, the price of aged stuff is getting really up there these days, so it did matter to me that the pick for this category was at least affordable within the context of being an older whiskey. And what I landed on here was the Speyburn 18. This is really good, rounded, complex sherry. We get the sophistication of age. If you're a fan of the 15-year-old Speyburn, which is a big hit for a lot of people, this is a beautiful step up from that one. By the way, if the recipient has never tried Speyburn 15, that's another great gift to buy them, but we're focusing on the 18-year-old here. I would call this stuff fruity, spicy, and sophisticated, and I think it would make a great gift if you want to give something that's a little bit fancier, but still don't want to pay those exorbitantly high prices that most 18-year-olds demand. So this is a really good one, Speyburn 18. Our next category is sherried whiskey for the sherried lover. Now, arguably, you could have put Speyburn 18 in this category. It definitely would have worked, but maybe you don't want to dish out for an 18-year-old, but you still want to give them something sweet, fruity, and substantial. And if that's the case, I'm going to recommend the Ben Rennes 15. This is one that I've been talking up for a while. It doesn't have the ABV, but the price is fair. We do get a nice age statement, and I always recommend this to people who are fans of stuff like Mortlach 16, for example, if you're looking for a sherried whiskey that's kind of like hearty and meaty. So there we go. Let's use meaty as a descriptor. I also want to call this one spicy and rich. This one hits big for the ABV. I think it's a great age-stated sherried whiskey that kind of flies under the radar, so it might surprise whoever you're giving this to as a gift. It's a good one, worth checking out. Ben Rennes 15. Our next category is going to be a gentle whiskey. Now, this is a whiskey that doesn't offer up too much in terms of very dramatic flavors, so no big peat in here, no big sherry, no heavy cask influence. This will offer up a softer, gentler, often more nuanced experience, and the whiskey I want to offer up here is something I've been talking up a lot on this channel, but I don't think a lot of other people are. It is a great whiskey. This one's Dream to Dram by Kingsbarns. Now, this one was discontinued in favor of the Ducat, which is allegedly an older version of Dream to Dram. I have sampled the Ducat, and if I'm being honest, I prefer Dream to Dram. And it does seem like Kingsbarns knew they were onto something with that one because they recently brought Dream to Dram back. I believe it's just for a limited run, but it is now formally available again on the market, so it is one that I'm recommending to you guys. I think it's beautiful stuff. I would describe it as bright, sharp barley. Yes, a little bit sharp, and that might not work for everyone, but it's a special whiskey. I'm telling you guys, it's worth checking out if you want something a little bit lighter, more nuanced, and more distillate focused. So there we go. Kingsbarns Dream to Dram. All right, guys, that was the list. I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, I do want to hear from you. What do you think of my list, or what's on your wish list for this holiday season? Finally, if you stuck around to find out what the mystery port in my glass is here, my hint wasn't that subtle. I said it was a rugged whiskey, and I said it's been my whiskey of the year before, which basically narrows it down to two options. What I've got in the glass here is Craigellachie 13, except not really. See, I thought I actually had the regular Craigellachie 13 on my shelf. I don't. The one I've got here is the Armagnac. I finished my last regular bottle of the 13. The one I want to recommend to you guys is the regular 13. But also, you can't go wrong with this one. So, hey, bonus. Either way. Now, granted, Craigellachie 13 isn't exactly under the radar, and it has been hyped up before, but it didn't make it through to the nominees in the Oswas this year, and I kind of hoped that it had. So I'm just putting it up here because I want to remind people that it's still out there, and it's still really delicious. So, yep, good stuff. And I guess that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to help out the channel, I do have the Patreon. Otherwise, you can always like, comment, subscribe, and you know I appreciate that. And I do want to hear from you, so you can tell me what's on your wish list for this year. You can also tell me what kind of whiskeys you want to see me review down the line, and I'll keep it in mind for my upcoming videos. And I suppose we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.